Well, watchers of the Marvel Multiverse, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness has finally been released, and it did not disappoint. As we watched Doctor Strange leap between universes, we were introduced to a myriad of different characters, multiversal variants of currently beloved MCU mainstays, and many more integral figures, who all made significant appearances throughout the runtime of Marvel's latest entry. One of these brand new characters, though, appeared only briefly and in the mid-credits sequence, but her inclusion could have significant ramifications on the future of Doctor Strange's adventures and the fate of the multiverse as a whole. So stick with us today, watchers of the Marvel Multiverse, and let's discuss the figure that appeared in the mid-credit sequence of Multiverse of Madness, including her comic book history, as well as what this might mean for the future of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Spoilers ahead for not just the mid-credit and post-credit scenes, but the entirety of Doctor Strange's second solo outing. While the figure in the scene was never officially named in the film, we have reason to believe that this is none other than Clea, a longtime ally of Doctor Strange and a fan favorite comic character. This is primarily based off of her appearance as well as the portal through which she ultimately appears. In the comics, Clea was a highly talented magician and the heir to the Dark Dimension, as well as the sister of Dormammu, who we met in live action in Doctor Strange's first solo adventure all the way back in 2016, and the portal behind Clea seems to showcase none other than the Dark Dimension, which further supports the idea that this is in fact Clea. Raised within the Dark Dimension, Clea is a half-Faltine, half-human character who was granted some particularly intriguing abilities due to both the nature of her birth and the environment wherein she grew up, which included the power to naturally levitate without the use of formally learned magic. While this could be attributed to her physiology, her proficiency in learned sorcery is also remarkable, as she is a gifted magician in the comics and is one of Strange's proteges within the mystic arts. Her natural power is further augmented by her connection to the Dark Dimension, giving her an edge over many sorcerers. But with further training under the sorcerers of Kamar-Taj and Strange himself, her powers were able to climb exponentially until she became one of the most formidable sorcerers of her universe, even carrying the title of Sorcerer Supreme for a brief time during Doctor Strange's untimely death. She even goes on to develop a romantic attachment with Strange during and after their training, and the two have been romantically involved on numerous occasions. In the MCU specifically though, the main timeline, Christine is married and no longer shows any romantic interest in Doctor Strange, hinting that this new character might serve as a love interest in the future projects that follow the former Sorcerer Supreme on his adventures. After cultivating a romantic relationship with Strange and before his death at the hands of Mephisto, Clea returned to the Dark Dimension in order to usurp the current rulership, which was held under the grip of Umar, whom she banished after their battle with one another. After proclaiming herself to be the new ruler of the Dark Dimension, she and Strange had to adapt to their new long-distance arrangement. As the queen of her dimension and an interdimensional alien, she and Strange could not get formally married, but they performed an unofficial yet mystically bonded ceremony that closely resembled the magical counterpart to marriage, but wasn't technically legal by earthly standards. So what does all of this tell us about her character in the MCU, and what hints did we receive in her few brief seconds of screen time in Multiverse of Madness? In her only scene, she states that Strange caused an incursion, otherwise known as a collision between universes, and there are a few key takeaways from this encounter. Despite it being so brief, the first is that she too seems to have the similar ability to travel between different universes with relative ease, an ability showcased only by America Chavez so far. The crux of the film rested on America's as of yet unmatched power to easily traverse the multiverse, and this ability seemed to be unique to only her throughout the duration of the project. Seeing as Clea only appeared on the doorstep of Earth 616, however, leaves us to wonder how exactly she was able to inform Strange of an incursion on another timeline, which leaves us with a few possibilities. The first explanation is that it has been theorized that the Dark Dimension might work in a similar fashion to that of the quantum realm, but where one uses cross-time, the other helps them to cross between realities and universes. If the quantum realm can act as a highway of sorts throughout different points on a timeline, much like Scott Lang describes, then perhaps those who are able to navigate the Dark Dimension can do the same thing with different universes or realities. As mentioned before in the portal behind her, we can see what appears to be the Dark Dimension, implying that not only is she from here, but that Strange will need to travel through the Dark Dimension in order to locate the source of the incursion, and he may need a helpful navigator who is far more knowledgeable about the realm than Strange is. The second possibility is that she is not actually talking about the previous events in the movie as they pertain to the Earth of the Illuminati. and is actually a completely separate incursion. We are led to believe that Strange likely caused an incursion on Earth 838, and this seems to be the easiest answer given his prolonged exposure to their timeline and their irreparable harm that he may have caused to this very presence of this world, simply by being there. But it's also possible that Clea wasn't even talking about the multiverse or another timeline at all. It is theoretically possible that she's not actually referring to Earth 838, nor is she talking about any of the other realities that Strange and Chavez visited throughout their adventure, but that she is stating that an incursion is imminently approaching the mainline MCU, and it's Strange's fault. This would mean that America is still the only known individual who can so easily leap between realities, and it would also mean that the MCU is in immediate danger, and the answer might come down to the practice of dreamwalking. We know that dreamwalking can cause incursions, as the iteration of Strange from Earth 838 doomed an entire reality by dreamwalking through it. This didn't affect his own home timeline, however, but instead it ruptured the timeline that he invaded. Earlier in the film, our Strange dreamwalks through the corpse of Defender Strange and affects his own home universe by doing the very same thing that doomed another unnamed reality. Could this act of saving America have actually triggered an inadvertent collision between the mainline MCU and another unmentioned reality? As of now, we know that Doctor Stranges are incredibly threatening individuals to the sanctity of the multiverse, and we've seen one Strange cause calamity by performing the very same feats as his mainline counterpart, leaving us to wonder if Strange might have saved America at the cost of his entire reality. But anyway, my friends, what did you think of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness? What did you think of Clea? And do you believe that this individual is in fact Clea? If she's not, then who do you think she might be? As always, my friends, thank you guys so much for watching the channel. We'll be sure to be covering Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness in depth over the next few days. Hit that subscribe button to assemble and join our team, and I hope you have a great day.